Majestic mountains, cloud-dotted springtime skies, and the beauty of a small northwestern town. This sets the scene for Pro Rodeo's first ever Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. We've come to Pocatello, Idaho and the Mini Dome, where over 150 of America's top circuit pro rodeo athletes are competing for $100,000 in prize money. Hello everyone, I'm Hadley Barrett, along with three-time champ of the world, Monty Hawkeye Hansen. Well, Hawkeye, you've been to the finals some 13 times. What does this concept of rodeo really mean to pro rodeo?
Well, Hadley, it brings into the spotlight contestants who choose not to rodeo full-time, but to rodeo on a minimum basis in their own certain area. It gives them the opportunity to ride a rodeo like this against world champions, and we had about 25 world championship titles in this arena. So it wasn't anything, it wasn't confined just to certain people.
Speaking of champions, you know, just because you're a champion doesn't mean you're going to be in the Wrangler round, huh?
No, not at all. As you saw me that first night here, I tried to do my impression of one of those long divers over that fence over there.
Well, these circuit contestants come from literally all across America. And as you can see on the screen, we have our map divided into 12 pro rodeo circuits. Now, at the end of the regular season, we conduct finals or playoff games, if that may be the case. The winners of these competitions, along with the seasonal winners, earn a berth at our first ever Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo for $100,000 in cash. Well, let's take a look at the highlights of the bareback riding and how we come to the finals. Mike Flanagan for the Sierra Circuit out of Auburn, California is going to be the first man we look at in our highlights of the semifinals. Now, actually, out of the 24 cowboys in the bareback riding, we come down to 8 of them in the semifinals. We're looking for the top 4 scores for the all-important finals. Pretty good horse called Gold Dust. The horse belongs to Greg Kessler. Well, we see a penalty flag down. Looks like he has missed the horse out of the chute, so Flanagan is not going to advance.
As you well know, Hadley, the first jump out of the chute, both spurs have to be over the point of the shoulders. His right foot dropped right there, so that's why the judge got him at the gate for no score. The horse really had a good day. Mike had a little trouble riding him, but it didn't matter if he rode him good or not after the no score.
Now, the spur and lick by the cowboy, good for half of the ride. The other half goes to the performance of the horses. Our Wrangler Pro officials will be handing it down to us. Randy Taylor is set to go now in our semifinals. This guy rides for the Prairie Circuit, comes out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, former national finalist. I like the aggressive attitude of this kid. He can ride. Another good Kessler horse called Grubstake. I don't see any penalty flags down here, Hawk. Looks like we might have our first qualified ride in the semifinals.
It sure does. Looks like a 76 marking for him too, Hadley. Randy's been riding real good the last year and a half. Last year he barely missed the national finals, and as you said, he had qualified before. Looking at the replay here, the horse really strong out of the chute. You can see him spurring up the sides of the neck here, just what you're supposed to be doing. It's a pretty good ride for 76 points. We'll have to see how the rest of it goes.
Well, as we look at the highlights, and normally a 76 score would move you to the finals. In this particular case, it's not going to happen. One of the toughest men to get on the ground is this guy right here, Chuck Simonson, riding for the Montana Circuit. He comes from up near Miles City, I believe, a little town called Shepherd. Isn't that close up there?
Yes, it is.
This is Old Blue Dog, owned by the Brookman outfit. Now take a look at this.
This horse is really a strong one here, really giving him some, oh, out the back door too. Oof.
Now there's the kind of a guy, it's very difficult to get that rigging away from him, but it has jerked it right out of his hand, and he does come out the back door.
The way they have their hands bound in there, you can see right here when the ride starts, the horse is really strong, really yanking him. This horse whips him forward right here, that jerks the back of his hand out. Then when he gets whipped back again, that just pops his hand loose. He was lucky not to get kicked with both feet.
So as you see some of the guys that didn't make the finals, the top 4 going in are Mickey Young, Steve Carter, Todd Little, and Colin Murnyan. This is Mickey Young. Has to be an in-house favorite. He rides for the Wilderness Circuit and comes from right here in Idaho. He's on a Stevens Brothers horse called Payday. Now this long-legged boy can reach and jerk those knees, can't he?
He sure can. He's been around a long time. He's a former reserve champion in the bareback riding. I think he'll be around a lot longer too. He's one of those kind of guys that rides, it doesn't hurt him to ride.
Now in our Wrangler round, we might point out to the viewers at home, we throw away all of the previous score history, and it is the best man wins.
As we look at the replay here, you can see right up the sides of the neck all the way to the riggings, the way you're supposed to spur. The horse covered a little bit of ground. As you can see, it's a 74 score, Hadley.
All right, he sets the pace for us. and Steve Carter, another man that the audience will be getting on the edge of their seat for, because he comes from a neighboring state of Oregon, Klamath Falls, Oregon, and rides for the Columbia River Circuit. Now, Columbia River involves the, I think, the northern half of Idaho, above the Salmon River, I think is the way that division goes. Wilderness on the other side. We're looking at a horse called Winnemucca. Now, this horse owned by Stevens Brothers. We have 4 major stock contractors at the rodeo here, and boy, this stock has been ranked. Well, I guess you know that, don't you? You were on some of them.
Yes, I was. I tell you one thing, it didn't work out too good for me.
Now, Steve Carter with a very snappy style. Look at the timing of that ride. That's what the judges are looking for.
That was a really good spur ride, Hadley, on a really nice horse, too. The kind of you just want to draw every time you get out there. You can always win money on that one.
Now, there's a fine young man. A good businessman, good bareback rider. And as we see the instant replay, Hawk, this is exactly what you dream of doing when you ride bareback horses, isn't it?
The hardest part of these kind of horses for a guy that rides all the time is drawing them, Hadley, because that's what you want to get on, just like you said. Really good form for an 87 score.
All right. Now we know that Mickey Young is not going to win our Final Four, but we have 2 ranked young men to go yet, and some tough stock, I'll promise you that. There was a good look at that bareback rigging as Todd Little says, let's try it. He rides for the Southeastern Circuit. This kid comes from Louisiana. The old Spitfire having a pretty good day here.
Sure was. It'd kind of be hard to judge this event right here. That's pretty close to the ride that Steve Carter had, I think. I mean, the same kind of horse and same kind of spur rides. As we look at the replay here, he gets a real good start. His feet come out right. He's with the horse every jump. Nice, smooth spurring lick. Just what the book reads.
Well, the turn of the toe, the extension of the leg, the contact to the horse, those are some of the things our officials watch for. And as the score comes up, it is an 87, and we have a deadlock for the lead.
All right.
Well, we have a young man that could turn it around. Colin Murnion out of Montana, last year's Rookie of the Year. Brookman's horse called Brownie, turning in a good performance, and Colin doing all he can.
Horse had a real good day with him, too, kind of straight away in the last little part, made a circle to the left. Colin made a nice, smooth ride. I don't know if it'll be enough to overtake the lead or not.
All right, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to see this again, and we do. An 80 score comes up for Colin. He is not going to be good enough to be among our top men. Matter of fact, we're going to have a tie for our championship in the bareback riding. And let's take a look at the way it finals out for us. Steve Carter and Todd Little are going to share the title. Colin Murnion wins 3rd, Mickey Young 4th. We'll be right back with more coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals and steer wrestling right after this.
So you think you're a cowboy, but you're only
Willie Nelson, a legend in jeans. And those jeans gotta be Wrangler cowboy cut. Designed by cowboys, they're the only official jeans of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler cowboy cut jeans.
Hey, everybody knows real cowboys wear Wrangler.
Hi, my name's Charlie Daniels, and I make my living playing music. When I'm not singing, I like to read about the Old West. I don't know anybody that tells about the Old West and writes about the people and their spirit, the good guys and the bad guys, as good as my friend Louis L'Amour. I've read most of his books, and a great one to start with is Hondo. These handsomely bound, hardcover, action-packed books will make a fine-looking addition to your home or office. Examine Hondo free for 10 days, and should you decide to keep it, all you pay is $9.95 plus postage and handling. Then you'll automatically receive another selection once a month for a 10-day free examination. You may return any copy and stop whenever you want to. Once you start Hondo, I guarantee you won't put it down.
Call toll-free 1-800-321-3600 to examine Hondo, your first exciting volume in the Louis L'Amour collection. Call now, 1-800-321-3600. That's 1-800-321-3600.
Welcome back to our national coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. As we look at the highlights in the steer wrestling, we're going to show you some of the reasons why some of these people in the top 8 didn't make it to the finals. Of course, it was a very rapid pace, and matter of fact, a 4.9 set the pace as we started the semifinals. Bob Ryan, that you see here, is faced with trying to be a little faster than that. So a pretty good pen of steers for our semifinals, don't you think, Hawk?
I thought so, too. They ran real well, and they were newer steers. They were pretty fresh. The guys really didn't know what was going to happen in this event, so it's kind of hard to let them know how far they can move before you start.
I think you make a very good point there, and it's one of the reasons that Bob Ryan had trouble on this one. A 4-7. Now, he had a game plan, carried it out. He's faster than the 4.9 that he had to beat, but he has broken the barrier. And again, you talk about the fact that they are fresh cattle. You can't judge them as well.
He got a good, it looked like a good start there. He just barely broke the barrier. He was trying to push it as far as he could. You can see he made a real good run here. He was awfully disappointed when he got out.
I'm sure he was, and the penalty is going to take him out of it. He will not advance on to the finals. This big man that you see getting ready to ride in, he rides for the Sierra Circuit. He's their steer wrestler from Modesto, California, Big John Bosky. Now, I remember this guy as a former all-around winner of the Houston Rodeo about 4 or 5 years ago. He's a calf roper, bulldogger, knows what he has to do. Has to be a fast time, and again, it looked to me like he might have crowded that barrier again, Hawk. I'm not sure.
He had a little trouble throwing the steer down, too. We can see when we go back to replay here, Hadley. He almost missed the nose on him. Yes, he did break the barrier for a 16-1.
So again, you see one of the reasons why these men are not advancing to the top 4. Now, the competition is very, very keen as we go to the top 4. And, of course, we throw away all of the time history, as we told you before, and it'll be John Thompson, Troy Lorenz, Rob Juker, and Pat Nogel. Those are the 4 guys that are starting dead even, and they're going to go for it. I like this man, John Thompson. He's for the Sierra Circuit. He lives at San Luis Obispo, California. And John is kind of a quiet guy, the kind of a man that doesn't travel full time, but I'll guarantee you he can beat anybody.
He gets a good start here. He's riding alfalfa feathers and hard catfish. Good run, Hadley.
There is an excellent run to put the pressure on our finals, a time of 4 seconds flat. And you know, one of the things I like about this competition, you can hear all the other cowboys and the cowgirls from the Sierra Circuit are kind of along the sideline saying, "Good go, John."
Sure was. It was a nice run. Hazer really helped him bump the steer over there, Hadley.
Here's a man that represents the Badlands Circuit. That would encompass the states of North and South Dakota. Troy Lorenz out of Belle-Fourche, South Dakota. Now, in the semifinals, this guy turned in a run of 4-9. If he was to do that again, it's not going to be good enough to beat John, because he has set the pace very, very hot.
We're going to see these guys really running at the barrier now with that 4 flat set up there, Hadley. I think they'll be trying for some 3s right now.
I think you're right. He is going for it. Now, it looked like Troy got out clean.
That was a really nice run, really smooth run. 4-4 looks like, Hadley, for his time.
Well, you can see the 4-second run that John Thompson had set makes this thing very, very tough.
He had a real nice steer here. He got out in good shape, brought the steer's nose up. You can see as he goes to it there. Hung a back leg a little, but it didn't cost him any time.
I think you're right. I think you're right. The steer was not going to be flat anyway if it hadn't hung. Big Rob Juker is a man from the Wilderness Circuit. Now, he's a giant at about 6'5", and what do you think Rob would weigh, 235 maybe?
At least 235. He's a former football star in college and really a good guy, too.
Thank heavens for that.
I believe.
Ooh, man, now that steer did hang, and that may have cost him.
He got a good throw at him. The steer kind of hung a back leg and just caused the back part of the steer to stay up maybe a half a second. It could have cost Rob winning this thing right there.
You're absolutely right. And the half a second that you talk about puts him in at 4-4. And John Thompson for Sierra still holding the lead. Now you see Rob walking out slowly, and Jack Hannum, our national director of the circuit system in our game, standing there complimenting him. So our 4th and last man to go is Pat Nogel out of Grass Valley, Oregon. Bulldogging for the Columbia River Circuit. We remember Pat of national finals fame. He was very, very quick in the semifinals with the 4-7. Needed to be under 4 seconds flat on that one. May have crowded that steer a little at the line. What do you think, Hawk?
He sure did, though. He was trying to get out of there as quick as he could. Hadley caused the steer to set up as we can see it here on the replay.
So the bulldogging comes down like this. John Thompson is going to pick up the win. Troy Lorenz and Rob Juker will share second and third place. Pat Nogle very disappointed in the outcome of his run, obviously, and he will hold fourth place. Hawkeye Henson has left the booth, and he's going to talk with our champion right now.
John, you had a real good win here for you. Did you enjoy this concept at this rodeo, and did you enjoy the whole finals and all?
Yeah, I sure did. I think it was a great deal for the less fortunate guys that can't travel to compete with some of the NFR people. So I thought it was great.
All right.
We'll be right back with more coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo and team roping right after this.
They were a breed unlike any other. Never the biggest, just the toughest. Introducing a new breed of American truck, the mid-size Dodge Dakota. With the heart of a full-size and the spirit of a compact, it's a truck unlike any other. With available V6 power and 8-foot bed, and backed as only Dodge does, for 7 years or 70,000 miles. Dodge Dakota, a lean, new breed of American truck.
Welcome back to Red Mountain Productions coverage of the National Circuit Finals Rodeo. We're in Pocatello, Idaho at the Mini Dome. And let's take a look at the highlights of team roping in our semifinals. Smiley Jess and Mike Fuller, the guys you see here, for the Columbia River Circuit. Picks up the steer in good shape, turns him back, heel loop under there. Little trouble with the heading horse.
Yes, as you well know, Hallie, they have to both face after the ropes are dallied, and so that heading horse wouldn't spin around and get face for him, so he did have a little trouble, and it cost him a little time.
I think he was kind of in the fence there, trying to bring the horse around, and as you mentioned, we'll have another look at it. We can see that the horse got a little high, had to settle him down, and the long flag cost them. In at a 9-second run, 9-7 to be exact, and this is not going to work for him in the finals.
It's a good shot at the heeling horse right there at the end, and the way the dally takes place, Hallie.
And that old pony did set down. Dee Pickett and Barry Johnson for the Wilderness Circuit will be up next. These guys come from Caldwell, Idaho. Now Pickett, a former all-around champion, team roping champion, winning both of those crowns in 1984. These guys can be extremely tough in this contest.
This Dee Pickett, there's not a nicer man on the rodeo trail than him either. Both these guys are real nice guys. They have real good horses. It's a pleasure to see people like these show up to a rodeo.
Now, they roped well all week long. They had 7-2 in the first round, came back with an identical time of 7-2 in the second round. That's what has brought them here to the semifinals. Pickett looks, sticks it on him. Look at that big bay horse lean and turn that steer back. I like the way this man handles that heel loop, and there's a 7-7 run. That's going to move these guys to our finals.
That was a really good run right there, Hadley. These guys are consistent, as you said, staying right within 5/10 of their original time here. Steer runs with his head down. Dee has a little bit of trouble, has to ride up a little further to rope him. And Barry comes in right here for 2 feet, just like the book reads.
It was a beautiful run. Now the 7-7, as we mentioned, would move them to the finals. I'm going to retract that. The 7-7 did not bring these guys to the finals. That's a hot run and one of the best ones we've seen all week long. That didn't work for them. Let's go to the Camarillo boys. Gerald and Leo. Should see Leo on the Heelan side, Gerald on the other side, but we don't in this case.
I like to see a versatile man that can work either side, Hadley.
Leo Camarillo, that's the first time I've ever seen him in competition doing the head and shoulders. He's known as one of the greatest heelers in the world. And Gerald picks up a single hind foot. That brings about a 5-second penalty, and it'll push their time to 12-3. It's not going to work for the Camarillos. You have any idea why they made this decision?
Well, the way it worked out, I think between the two of them, they wanted to rope together, and they wanted to see who would be the best on either end. And Leo decided he wanted to head. He is a good header, and Gerald usually always picks up both feet, but it didn't work that time.
All right. We go to the top four. It's going to be Gill, Peterson, Smell, and Hauser, Schaefer and Steele, Barnes and Cooper. And we have got it started with David Gill and Jim Peterson. These guys are open for the Sierra Circuit. Now, you come from out in California, you have to know how to team rope, don't you?
That's a fact, because everybody out there can rope that enters. As we watch the replay here, Hadley, gets out in good shape right here. It's a good loop for the head. And you can see the heeler does just exactly what he's supposed to. He's coming in early. He's got the timing down, ropes the feet out of the air with a dally. Good run.
So we have no penalty at the barrier line, no penalty in the field, a 6-4, and they set the pace pretty tough. Don Smelling and Stan Hauser roping for the Badlands Circuit. These two guys come from up near Dickinson, North Dakota, and they've been roping well all week. I think the fact that they're at the finals here in our Wrangler round speaks for itself in this particular case.
He's trying to get that horse set to shoot right now. They have to make sure they're standing just right so they can leave at the quickest opportunity.
You can see how attentive that horse is. Trying to get his hammer cocked now. The timing very, very important. That's the man that rides from behind the barrier string. Almost lost him. Picks up what we call a half head catch, but it's going to be in there and legal. All right, he sets his horse. We have a problem at the line. It is going to be a 10-second penalty, and we go to 18-2 for these guys.
He figure-eighted his rope right there, Hadley, and he had to wait for it, since it didn't go around the horns, wait for it to fall over the nose. This is what cost him a little bit of the extra time, but the heel loop was a real good loop, 2 feet. Just a bad day at the office.
Awful good view of that dally. There's Big Buddy Lytle, one of our Wrangler Pro officials. He is one of the most popular flagmen in professional rodeo. What a super nice guy. Enoch Schaefer and Larry Steele for the Montana Circuit up next. You know, we have an awful lot of fans in the house here tonight in the Mini Dome from Montana. Matter of fact, record numbers. 29,000 people watched this rodeo this week. And do you know, Hawkeye, that's 10,000 more than they have ever grossed at any rodeo in this city.
It was really a fun rodeo, and the intensity was really hot here too, Hadley. Oh, we saw a missed loop right there.
Now he crosses over. This is legal. They can use what we call the bonus loop. They're entitled to use a total of 3 loops, and the heeler can cross over and make the head catch. They have kind of looked at one another, made their decision that it was not going to work for them, and elect to not continue on the run and exercise that 3rd loop option. So officially, it will be a no time. Now there's part of that great crowd we were talking about. I don't know exactly what happened here, Hawk.
He missed the right horn. You can see he put his head down, the look of disgust, Hadley.
Yeah, he knew that he had done it. Well, in this Final Four, and there is no tomorrow, believe you me. Jake Barnes, Clay O'Brien Cooper, reigning champs of the world. They've won it in '86. That was a repeat championship for them, as their first time was in '85. Boy, that Jake Barnes can rope them.
And that man right there can heel, too, that Clay O'Brien Cooper. That was a real nice run there.
They had to be under 6-4. Look at them smile. Cleo says, we've done it again. 6-2, and these guys capture the lead. So it is Barnes and Cooper, Gill and Peterson, Smelling and Hauser, Schaefer and Steele. As we look to the wins, that's team roping, and here is Hawkeye with our winners.
Well, Clay, winning the world naturally is the ultimate goal in rodeo, or winning the national finals, but what does a rodeo like this mean to you?
Well, it's a new concept, and they have a lot of the best contestants in the world that has come here, so it's an honor to win this rodeo, and it was a very good rodeo.
Well, congratulations to you. And Jake, working the front end, you always get to throw first. What were your ideas about this concept?
Well, I really enjoyed this rodeo. It's kind of like the national finals, and it's sure an honor to win it.
All right, well, congratulations to both of you.
We'll be right back with the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals coverage and saddle bronc riding right after this.
Thank you for your order, and be sure to look for your free gift. Would you like to receive a free gift too and save money at the same time? I'll be right back to show you how.
In the movies, good guys wore white, bad guys wore black. But the real West wasn't black and white. Marshal Wyatt Earp started out as a gunslinger, and ruthless outlaws like Jesse James became popular heroes. Now, Time Life book shows the West like it really was. This book, The Gunfighters, reveals the men behind the legends. Butch Cassidy's wild buck, John Wesley Hardin, who shot a man for snoring. Billy the Kid, Judge Roy Bean. He once fined a dead man $40 for carrying a concealed weapon. Their stories are all here. So are their guns, plus rare photographs and great Western art. The Gunfighters is yours for 10 days free. If you like it, receive volumes every other month. The Great Chiefs, the Gamblers. Each has the look and feel of hand-tooled saddle leather. If you care about the West as much as I do, you want everyone. The Old West from Time Life Books. It makes me feel like I was there.
Hi, I'm Kathy at Time Life Books. If you call now, you'll get the Gunfighters for just $4.95 plus shipping and handling. That's $8 off the regular price. Plus, you'll receive this Western belt buckle free when you purchase your first book.
Call 1-800-227-5300. That's 1-800-227-5300.
This offer ends soon, so call now.
Welcome back to more coverage of our Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. We're going to the saddle bronc riding highlights. And this has kind of been the equalizer here. Marty Jandrew leading us off here in our highlights. He's from the Badlands Circuit, and he is down for the count. Both these broncs have been tough, haven't they, Hawk?
They bucked here all week, and there's been a lot of people hit the ground. I know, I was one of them. And that right there, Marty just got out of shape and couldn't hardly get back in the middle. He got a good start here, Hadley. Kind of got behind. You can see he gets tipped over to the left. Right here, the horse doesn't kick when he blows. This leaves Marty just kind of in the air, and when he kicks the next time, there's no getting back.
Well, it's very clear to see what you're talking about. The horse was kind of hanging in the air. Then about the time Marty got in trouble, then he decided to kick and snapped him out of there, didn't he? Mike Merchant is up next. This guy for the Southeastern Circuit. He's from Crossett, Arkansas. He's a former intercollegiate champ. This is a pretty good horse of the Brookman Company, Sleepy Cat.
The horse really had a pretty good day with Mike on Friday. He had him here and won the second go-around on him. Came back with him in the finals and had a little bit of trouble.
Well, the bronc riding's been very, very tough. A lot of the money's been won in the 80s and high 70s. Merchant with a 73 on this particular ride in the semifinals. Not going to be good enough to make to the top four, the advancement.
He kind of got behind right out there, got his feet behind him. You can see him making the long stroke here, but the horse is not really helping him, moving ahead. Kind of hard to make a full stroke on him because he's not very smooth, Hadley.
Well, the folks kind of slide up on the edge of their seat and get ready to help out one of their favorite cowboys, Butch Small. Let's take a quick look at this. This is one of the things that we did not predict. Probably literally everyone in the house said this wouldn't happen to Butch Small, huh?
Butch won the first go-around on this horse. This is Buzzard's Glory, belongs to Marvin Brookman. He was 86 points the first night. He came back, and I thought this was going to be the one right here.
I did too. I thought it might put him to the finals in the top position, but that's the position he did not want. Came out of there smooth, didn't he?
He did. Butch's feet come out a little bit early, and he just had a little trouble catching up, and on a horse like that, you can't make mistakes.
So we go to the finals with Jower, Chuck Morris, Bud Monroe, and Skeeter Thurston. Those are going to be the four that battle it out, and Clay Jowers, the aggressive young man from the southeastern part of our country, leads it off.
He's got a horse called Moon Cat of the Marvin Brookman string here. Really a strong horse. He's making a good ride, full stroke motion, a lot of snap and a lot of charge. This looks like it ought to be a good ride here for the points.
Well, if it does prove to be a good ride and a high score, we kind of hold in line with what's been happening in the finals so far in all of our events. It seems like the first man out makes it tough on everybody, and there's a big 80. You called it right.
I'll tell you what, you see the spur outlets he left there. It was good shape. This horse wants to loosen you up. You can see that front end dropping, trying to jerk his saddle away. He's really having to reach here. He's not going to stay in the saddle on this one. I was pretty high on that Bronc ride right there, Haley.
Would it be safe to say that you have to ride a horse like that that way? You have to charge him?
You really do, because if you slow up on one that's dropping in the front like that, it'll jerk your saddle away from you, and you really are in trouble afterwards.
Righto. The Sierra Circuit sends Chuck Morris to the finals in the Bronc riding. And by the way, all of these circuits are battling it out for the circuit championship as well as these individual wins.
It's a nice little horse here. He leaves the chute, just a nice jumper and kicker. Doesn't look like he's going to be enough gas. This is a good spur ride, but to win first, I think he's going to have a lot of trouble there.
I get a kick out of you Bronc riders and bull riders talking about, boy, there's a nice little horse. Here's a horse that's got his head on the ground, kicking his feet to the moon, and he's nice, huh? A 77 score for Chuck.
This is a good smooth ride right here. Really making a long stroke. You can see he's getting a little meat in there on his spur and lick on the way back. And this is what the judges look for, as well as spurring high up in the neck.
Good, smooth style. Well, as Bud Monroe gets set to ride, Bud was in the television booth about 10 minutes ago asking you what kind of a rein to take on this horse, Three Chicks. You think you got it figured out?
Well, I hope we do. This horse right here has been in the national finals several times. He's got a few tricks about him sometime. He wants to take a run out of there and sling his head quite a bit on the run. You kind of have to lay off of him and wait till he breaks before you can get started. And Bud wanted to make sure he knew what the rein was to give him.
All right. Now, Bud is the reigning champ of the world. And, of course, these guys rely on our good Dodge truck pickup men. And Billy and Jake Stevens are two of the best in the business. That's very important to you guys to know they're out there, isn't it,
It
Hawk?
really is. I tell you, you need somebody like that that you can trust in case you get in trouble.
I see what you're talking about, that horse slinging his head back and forth. It's hard to get the ride started at that point, I think.
It is. If you take a hold of them when they're slinging that head like that, it might cause them to run a little further and knock your chances down of being a lot of points, but Bud seemed to handle it just right then.
Boy, he really got aggressive.
As we look at the replay, you can see he holds his feet. The horse breaks with him. Bud gets a good, strong motion right there when his feet come out. He's tapped off with him, makes a good ride. Well, I tell you one thing, it'd be hard to beat Clay Jowers. We'll have to see what the judges say.
Well, they just have sent up an 80-point ride for Bud Monroe, and once again we have a deadlock for the lead. Jowers and Monroe are, well, deadlocked for the lead with an 80 score, and Skeeter Thurston looking down at that old pony thinking, I have to be 81 or better to make this work.
I bet he feels like he did that time. He was nervous right there when he was crawling over the chute, Hadley. This is the time when you wonder sometime if you really should be doing this.
Now, he rides for the Prairie Circuit. I watched this kid grow up. He comes from a ranching community up there in Hyannis, Nebraska. Fine young man, and he does ride. Oh, Cool Cat of the Greg Kessler string, the horse he's on.
Here's another one of those horses just like you want to draw. Really good, strong horse, kicks good, moves forward, doesn't have any ducks or bad moves. Skeeter made a real nice spur ride.
I can clearly see what you're talking about, Hawkeye. You're talking about the timing and the set of the feet, the way you can get in the rhythm of the horse. Now, Skeeter scores a 78-point ride on this one. And here you can see what our expert, Hawkeye Henson, is talking about. The set of those feet, the good smooth style all the way to the rear of the saddle. So as we bring the saddle bronc riding down, once again we have a deadlock. It will be Clay Jowers and Bud Monroe splitting it, Chuck Morris and Skeeter Thurston, and we're going to talk to our champions right now.
With Clay Jowers here, Clay from the Southeastern Circuit. The whole Southeastern Circuit did well at this rodeo. It was a good rodeo for everybody at the Dodge National Circuit Finals. Did you enjoy yourself here?
Oh, yeah, you bet. Couldn't be any better here in Pocatello.
You drawed good and you rode good at this rodeo. A horse you had in the finals, Mooncat, what did you think of her?
Pretty bronky. She's a good horse.
Yeah, she really was. And you rode real good. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Bud, being the reigning world champion, and your wife's a former world champion barrel racer, did you enjoy this concept at this rodeo?
Sure. Anytime you can set it at one location for 4 or 5 days, you earn out your travel expenses, get on real good stock here at Pocatello. You know, the opportunity to make a little money and meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations for your win.
Thank you, Hawkeye.
We'll be right back with more coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals with calf roping right after this important word.
So you think you're a cowboy, but you're only
Willie Nelson, a legend in jeans. And those jeans got to be Wrangler cowboy cut, Designed by cowboys, they're the only official jeans of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. Wrangler Cowboy Cut Jeans.
Hey, everybody knows real cowboys wear Wrangler.
Welcome back to the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals. Hadley Barrett along with Hawkeye Hansen, and we're going to look at the highlights of the calf roping. Lane Johnson for the Mountain States Circuit is the first man we're going to watch. A very unique situation for the gang from Mountain States. Lane Johnson won their circuit rodeo, so he earned a berth here. His father, Alan, won the season, so he was here. Alan's wife, Janine, was their designated barrel racer, so it's Johnson time at the Mountain States Circuit. You know that?
It looks like it. Here goes Lane here, Addy.
All right, a good hot run by this guy. This guy can be very, very quick on the ground. Had a little trouble positioning the calf. The good horse has to get back and help him out a little. So 2 wraps, the half hitch, that's the way they tie him. And a good camera angle for our fans at home there.
My favorite part of the calf roping is you can see right here watching the horse, the way the horse moves. He runs right up on the calf so he can rope him. You see him put on the brakes and stop. Lane gets off the right side. The horse backs up and keeps the rope tight. Lane had a little trouble. The calf tried to run around behind him here. But I love to watch these horses, like I say, because it is really an expert thing.
It certainly is, and a good clean run of 11-4 would have worked, but we are looking at a penalty at the barrier, a 10-second penalty. It'll spoil the whole thing for him. Rob Vickers is this man. Normally spends most of his time down there in the southeastern part of our country within his own circuit. We've looked at times of 12-6, 11-1 in some of the earlier rounds, but this guy,
he always seems to be in there for the money. Oh, and a calf got away from him on that one, Hadley. He's going back to his horse to try that second loop, it looks like.
well, matter of fact, Hawk, at the time this happened, he was only the second roper out, so he had no idea what was going to happen to the other 6 guys yet to go. They're entitled to use 2 loops. And he thought, you know, you might as well take a shot at it, even if you're 30 or 40. And if the other guys have bad luck, you never know. You might advance on. Did not work for him, however, and he took a no time. This is D.R. Daniel. He's the first of the 4 finalists we'll see, which will include Troy Pruitt, Dave Smith, and Doug Clark. This Hawkeye is the winningest guy in rodeo right now in '87.
Yes, Hadley, he's won a little over $35,000 this year so far. Not only is he in the lead for the calf roping for the year, but also in the all-around. DR's a young man about 23. He's about 6'2", probably weigh around 215, 220. He's really a good hand. I think he's going to be around a long time.
Matter of fact, he's the guy that has tied the fastest calf so far here at our Circuit Finals Championship. An 8 and 7 in one of the earlier rounds, and he's going to be pretty quick on this one.
It looks like it.
Nice run by DR. Throws those hands in the air, and a 9 and 7. There's a glimpse of the great audience we have here.
As we see the slow-mo here, Hadley, he makes a good, nice, smooth throw. Gets off the right side. He's kind of been favoring the knee this week. He got hurt earlier in the week in one of the previous rounds, but it didn't slow him down at all once he got to the calf. Nice, smooth tie, 2 wraps and a hood.
Oh, that was nice. Well, you're right. He did sustain an injury catching his right foot in the stirrup getting down. Troy Pruitt is going to be up next. Ropes for the Badlands Circuit. This man is one of two brothers that compete on basically a regional basis. Now, the Badlands Circuit consists of North and South Dakota. Pruitt needs to be 9 and 6. Whipped it right off at the top of that calf's head. Now, Pruitt being the second man out in our finals, we saw a glimpse of this same situation a little earlier in the semifinals. So he goes to the second loop.
Yeah, and he did this one pretty quick, too. He roped this one with 2 loops faster than some guys do with 1. He's having a little trouble tying there, fumbles a little bit, but he gets it done.
That's not going to be all that bad, a 19 and 1. And Hawkeye, I think it's only fair to point out to the audience at home, of the $100,000 at stake here, the winner doesn't take it all. We do pay in our finals, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4 positions. So if you move 1 position or 2, it might mean $2,000 or $3,000. This is Dave Smith.
Oh, another case of that, missing that head when he roped. He didn't carry 2 loops, Hallie, so he doesn't have the opportunity to make a second throw. He throwed that loop when he left. It looked like it just went right under the calf's neck. He kind of had his head up a little bit.
So the folks from the Columbia River Circuit are a little disappointed in the outcome of this particular run for Dave Smith. It looked like the loop just kind of batted right off of the forehead of the calf there, didn't it?
He fed that rope a little bit too much when he was easing the loop out, and I think he just kind of had too much slack in his hand.
As we see our next man, Doug Clark, set his horse, you'll notice in the background, on the back of the box, a couple of guys that didn't make our finals. Champion Chris Libbert, Claire Brian Cooper looking on. Clark could be awful quick. Let's see what he does.
He gets a real good go right there, Hallie. Rides up. Oh, and he misses, though. He's got another loop, so he's going to go for that second one.
Yeah, again, we were talking about the division of money. If you move up a notch or 2, he'd like to be faster than Troy Pruitt and may have a chance to do it. This guy is so quick with those hands, he's got to hurry. Gets it done there. Would you believe, with 2 loops, identical runs, and identical times, a 19 and 1. Well, Clark didn't move ahead of Pruitt, but he's going to share second and third with him with that particular run. Let's see what happened here.
As we look back at the replay here, Hadley, the horse was working good, as I said. It looked like it was just a misjudged loop.
I believe you're right, and that can come back to haunt Doug. Well, as we mentioned earlier, he does equal the time of Troy Pruitt for a 19 and 1. He didn't lose any ground. He's not going to win the run, however. So D.R. Daniels continues his winning ways. Is going to pick up the championship here, the split between Pruitt and Clark and Dave Smith.
D.R. Daniels, winner of the calf roping from Okeechobee, Florida. D.R., you've been the hottest man in the calf roping this year, and you're also winning the all-around. You kind of got hurt a little earlier in the week. Could you tell us about it?
Well, I tell you what, on my first calf, I stepped off my horse, and he was running real fast. Stepped off, twisted my knee. When calf hit the end of the rope, the horse kind of jobbed his front feet in the ground. Twisted my knee. I got up and tied the calf. I didn't know to what extent the injury was, and I went to the Justin Healer. She said that I need to go to the doctor, so I went to the doctor the next morning. He said it was all right. We x-rayed it. Stuff's fine now, so.
Well, it didn't ruin your hot streak any. You still came through and won this one. Congratulations. We hope you the best in the future.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals and barrel racing right after this.
Exhilarating, thrilling, board sailing is a family sport enjoyed the world around. Now learn from the pros in Maui how to perfect your board sailing techniques with the outstanding new instructional video, Beach Starts, Water Starts, and High-Speed Jibes, part of the Higher Performance Board Sailing Series. Top board sailing competitors Kelbiano, Scott Trudone, and Ian Boyd share their techniques in Beach Starts and Jibes, from the basics to the radical. Sharon Young works with you on Water Starts. Enjoy the wind, the waves, and the spectacular scenery and sailors of Maui in your own home. And board sail better than ever, following this simple step-by-step instruction in Beach Starts, Water Starts, and High-Speed Jibes.
Order now, just $29.95 for the ultimate in board sailing instructions. Call 1-800-453-5700. That's 1-800-453-5700. Use your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or send check or money order for $29.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to the ultimate board sailing video, Box 9128, Aspen 81612.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo. We're looking at the highlights of barrel racing, and Shelley Kendall out of Idaho is the cowgirl you're seeing here. She rides for the Wilderness Circuit.
They do have an option too, Hadley, of going to the right barrel, making a right turn and then 2 lefts, or going to the left barrel and then 2 rights. Whichever way the horse turns the best is what they'll do.
These cowgirls know the ability of the horse better than anyone, and it's their responsibility to give him the best advantage. A 15:80, an awful good time. That is not, however, going to advance her to our top 4. Renee Woodcock out of Oregon, riding for the Columbia River Circuit, and a very solid run here.
These horses, these girls know how many steps they take between each barrel, and they can tell when a horse is messing up on the way to the barrel. I never even realized that for a few years.
They sure can. The 1576 is not going to work for Renee, so our finalists will be Deb Thompson, Janine Johnson, Suzanne Fawcett, and Charmaine James, and this is Deb right here, riding for the Badlands group.
Kyla had a little trouble on the first one and knocked the second one over there, Hadley. That's really going to hurt. That's a 5-second penalty.
I don't think there's any way that you're going to place at all with a penalty here, because this is a very, very tough field. Now, Janine Johnson rides for the Mountain States Circuit. You remember earlier in the calf roping when we were talking about Lane and his father, Alan, also representing Mountain States, 3 members of the Johnson family for the Mountain States Circuit.
This is really a nice brown horse she's riding here, too. She's made some good runs all week long, and the horse, for being a big horse and running fast, he really turns tight close to the barrel.
He was awful close to that one. You can touch the barrel, you can move it as long as you don't overturn it. We're going to be penalty free, and this is going to set a pretty fast pace. There you see the 1563 as we time it electronically. Seconds plus hundredths of seconds is the way we look at it. Suzanne Fawcett of National Finals fame for the Wilderness Circuit. Now, as we look at the battle we discussed between the circuits and their individual championship, Suzanne can assist her group right here. Nice run.
Really smooth, really smooth.
All right, heads him to the timeline, and we see it coming up as a 15:37. 15:37. That's 1/100th of a second off of the arena record this year, and here's the cowgirl that set it. This is Charmaine James, the winningest cowgirl in pro rodeo. Last year, over $160,000 and the championship of the world, and she rides for the Turquoise Circuit.
The only contestant ever at the national finals to place in all 10 go-rounds right here too, Hadley.
And she has to be under 15:37, a 15:30, and an excellent run. Now this little cowgirl, only 16 years old, from Clayton, New Mexico, and look at the fans cheer. Boy, they do like that barrel racing. This pretty girl, it seems like she just puts enough gas in the tank to make it to the end of the road. You know that? You can push her into a corner, pressure, and she comes through.
This horse is really something. She's really got him where he works well. He loves to run barrels.
All right, so our champion is Charmaine James, and we will look at Suzanne Fawcett, Janine Johnson, and Deb Thompson. Let's talk to our champion and this smiling cowgirl, see what she has to say about her win.
Charmaine James here, the world's champion barrel racer. Charmaine, you had a real good week this week. You broke the arena record in the top 8 tonight. You came back and broke your own record again in the top 4. What do you attribute all your success to?
My horse.
Well, he sure made good runs for you here. I know you've got a big future plan for him and yourself both. Where to from here?
I'm going to go home and just kind of let him rest a while, and then I'm going to maybe go to Lubbock and then head out to California.
Oh, it's time for the California rodeos
Yeah.
again. What do you think of the Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo? Did you enjoy yourself here?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Everybody here was just fantastic about just helping you out, and I had a great time here.
All right, congratulations, Charmaine.
Thank you.
Stay with us, because we'll be right back with the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals and the exciting bull riding.
In the truck warranty game, the winning hand still belongs to Dodge. Our 550 protection plan was the best in the business. And now, Dodge has raised the stakes to 7 years or 70,000 miles. So for anybody out there who wants to call our guarantee, read 'em and weep. Dodge, still the best back trucks in America.
Welcome back to the Dodge National Circuit Rodeo Finals. We're in Pocatello, Idaho. Hadley Barrett along with Monty Hawkeye Henson, and it is bull riding time. We're going to look at our semifinals in the bull riding, and Troy Johnston from the Turquoise Circuit is going to lead us off.
He's got a real good bull called Bandit here, Hadley. He kind of hesitates in the chute a little bit, and I think he's one of those that really blows out. Yes, he does. Uh-oh, down on his head he goes. Oh, quite a wreck. It looks like he could be hurt.
It really does. He came right down over his head and may have got it with the top of that bull's head. That's the way it looked from this angle anyway.
I think he got it on the gate as well. You see our Justin Healer there, Jackie Romer, taking care of him.
Of course, the Justin Sports Medicine program, so important to our game. Well, as we see to the needs of this young man, we understand as we get a report back that he is walking out under his own power, and that's always good news. Johnny Shea won the first go-round, an 82 score, one of the best scores of the week, matter of fact, came back with a strong 75, and here he is in the semifinals. Remember old Ajax? I watched this bull earlier in the week. He is bad.
Oh, I tell you, he didn't even get a shot out there. The bull jumped towards the back end, set him over into his hand, and when he left there, he was just sitting in there. There wasn't any way to get back, Hadley.
So, a dejected young man, and Tom Farley is the man we're looking at here. He is from Auburn, New York, riding for the First Frontier. Boy, this guy can ride. He has turned in some good rides. Matter of fact, he and his brother Joe both here for the First Frontier Circuit.
A lot of people don't realize that they do have as many rodeos as they do back in the East, and these guys can ride just like anybody from anywhere else. I mean, they go to a lot of rodeos, and he had a little trouble there, Hadley.
I love the way the folks in Pocatello, Idaho had cheered this guy on. They wanted him to make the finals. So as we go to the finals, it's going to be Mark Smith, Brett Todd, Tuff Hedeman, and Randy Smith. Well, they're going to battle it out. It's the best man wins. We throw away all the scores as we remind you of that again. And, of course, if we have ties, we have co-champions. And we have had that situation before. Mark Smith is our man here.
Bull turns back to the right, just what a guy wants, but when he changes direction and goes back the other way, he didn't kick and kind of left Mark just sitting in the air.
Came down a little too quick on that one. Now, Brett Todd, as we got a pretty good look at the man's hand in that riding rope right there in the chute. This guy for the Badlands Circuit on Old State Line.
This is a good bull right here. Just makes one round, though, and blows out of it, Hadley. This is when they're hard to ride, when they're going back and forth like that. You can see him whipping him around on top. Jerked the rope out of his hand, but it looked like it was after the whistle.
You'd have to change your game plan about 14 times during that ride because the bull refused to commit himself.
Just play catch up the whole time on one of those kinds. As we look at the replay here, you can see the bull really kicks out of there, and that's one of the best. The free arm movement is most important in the bull ride, and you can see him moving it here to get his body over to the right. Now the bull goes back and forth with him, kicking his feet behind him. He's having to hustle the whole way, Hadley.
And it's an 80-point ride. The bull, frankly, would have been easier to ride if he'd have stayed in that spin initially, wouldn't he?
Right. He got started with him so well, it would have made it a lot easier if he'd have stayed there.
One of the toughest men in pro rodeo and the hardest man to get on the ground is a guy by the name of Tuff Hedeman. He's the reigning champ of the world. You see him drawing that rope up now. He rides for the Texas Circuit, and here he is on Spider of the Stevens Brothers string.
They just don't make bulls that can throw this guy off right here. He does fall off once in a while, but he can ride anything on any given day.
I think you may have stated it right. You know that when he does buck down, sometimes he has just made a mistake and falls off with it. But very few bulls can actually flat buck him off. Boy, he is something, isn't he?
He sure is.
So an 80-point score for Tuff Hedeman. Again, we have a deadlock for the lead. And Randy Smith, the Louisiana Cowboy for the Southeastern Circuit, on a Stevens Brothers bull called Bonanza. Now here's another bull I remember from earlier in the week, and they've had very little success on this bull.
He's really fast out there, turns back to the left. You can see him, he moves his rear end off of the rope. He doesn't have a shot of bull spinning that fast, just sends him right out the back door, Hadley.
As soon as he got off of the rope, and you could see that, then the bull gets the momentum. Now, Quail Dobbs taking a shot there as Leon Coffey and John Novotny protect our Cowboys in the bull riding. Let's take a look at this, and you watch him come off of the rope.
He left a good shape right there, but once he moved his outside foot, that loosened up his hold, and just running back off his rope, actually had trouble getting his hand out of the rope.
So Tuff Hedeman and Brett Todd share the lead. The next two spots go to Mark Smith and Randy.
Brett, the opportunity doesn't come along every day to ride at a rodeo like this. You had good bulls draw it here, and it seemed like you rode good and were comfortable. What were your thoughts?
Well, I just come in here trying to hold my own, and rode good, and Tuff rode good. Just tried to stay with him.
Well, everything seemed to turn out okay for you.
You bet. Ended up better half of the deal, I guess.
As a reigning world champion bull rider, Tuff, you've had the opportunity to be in a lot of tight situations in the bull riding. What were your feelings about this rodeo here?
Shoot, I was really glad to be here. I drew some pretty nice bulls, and luckily I stayed on them and got the biggest check I've had all year. It doesn't count for points, but it's money in the bank, and that's what it's all about.
As our contestants assemble on the award stage, it's a very, very happy time for everyone, and Lee Farrell from Dodge Truck joins us to pass out our awards. We see, of course, the co-champions Steve Carter and Todd Little in the Bearback Riding accepting their awards. Big John Thompson from the steer wrestling, a very, very happy man. The team roping, as you know, the champions Clay O'Brien Cooper and Jake Barnes are going to pick up that win. The saddle bronc riding, again, co-champions Clay Jowers and Bud Monroe. The calf roping, D.R. Daniel. Barrel racing, Charmaine James, the champ of the world. Very exciting bull riding, and Brett Todd and Tuff Hedeman share the crown in the bull riding. The championship for the individual circuit is going to go to the wilderness circuit, and boy, these guys and gals are happy about this beautiful bronze. The Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo has been brought to you by Dodge Trucks, including the new mid-size Dodge Dakota. Dodge, America's best back trucks, are Ram tough. And by Wrangler, a legend in jeans, made in the USA. Staff and crew for Red Mountain Productions flew to Pocatello on SkyWest Airlines, providing frequent flights throughout the West, with connecting service to Delta Airlines with destinations nationwide. The Dodge National Circuit Finals Rodeo Showdown was produced by Red Mountain Productions Incorporated, with broadcast licensing granted by the Pro Rodeo Cowboys Association. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or public showing must be approved by the Pro Rodeo Cowboys Association and Red Mountain Productions Incorporated.